to Riverwalk. All of these, again, we want to do a citywide tourism plan. Last night, we approved an agreement with the Port of Seattle, which will include a locals first guide, which will be patronage of our local businesses. But they're also going to do a Snoqualmie Valley Trailview brochure and also an arts and culture brochure, which will be placed at the cruise terminal. They get 1.2 million people through there annually, and so, you know, if 1% of them picks up the cruise brochure and heads out our way, that would add to tourism. Other thing is we need to continue capturing our residents spending dollars, and right now we have a lot of services, we do not have a lot of retail, and so I think that with our population and with the added tourism, we will start drawing demand for additional retail and services.
Okay. Thank you. Elaine, same question.
Okay. Thank you. So yes, it's always good to diversify your income if that's possible. And, but also I think we could work on getting a little leaner as a city. I think we could really look at what are we spending our money on and how careful can we be for the sake of the residents to make sure that we are not wasting any money. I think it's important that we have good discussion with where is that money going. Council should be able to ask questions that include audit questions. Why not? They're the ones that have to approve the warrants or the checks that go out. So, we have some wonderful things that happen, like the 4th of July celebrations and Railroad Days. There are many, many celebrations out here where everybody's really happy to be out, and there's lots of vendors that are bringing in things for people to do and spend money on. All this is really wonderful. But I think we should be very cognizant. We are a small community. We are only 14,000 people. Please respect the people's money and be very, very careful with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. Anna, same question about diversifying revenue.
Again, just a topic really dear to my heart and something that I've been living for the last 12 years. And going back again to Catherine's responses. So goal number 1 for the City Council goals and objectives is provide an economic base that supports approved long-range city revenue goals. One of the objectives, number 2, ranked number 1, is to bolster and leverage tourism revenues as well as other non-resident revenue by developing an attraction plan. Well, here's my concern. 12 years ago when I got into the game up here, I thought that this was all being done. And a couple years ago it came to my attention that it wasn't. We're closer than we were. We do, and that's where I'm gonna challenge Catherine, is that we do have a tourism plan in our comprehensive plan. We do have one. We haven't been following it. But that's okay. I am really excited to be able to come on and give firsthand information of what is needed. But a couple more questions I guess I would direct towards Catherine is recruiting new detail. With all due respect, how? How are you saying you're gonna do this, and what is desirable about us to recruit it? Is that even the answer? Because if you'd see in my Valley record, my comment, our retail, and I know this firsthand, I guess I really wanna emphasize that, is that I lived this. And I'm the only one remaining restaurant that was the original owner. I was 1 out of 5 businesses that survived the build out on Center Boulevard. So I'm not really someone that's very braggy or toots their own horn, but I really feel in this case, I know what I'm talking about. But I said that our retail needs are unique because we do not have the population to support as much retail as other cities do. Other cities can pull from more cities within a 5-minute drive. We can only depend on Snoqualmie, Falls City, and North Bend populations and tourism. Well, the Ridge was never intended, and it's very clearly spelled out in our plans. We were never intended to receive tourism. So we need to fix those problems to get what we have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anna. We'll stay with you for the next question, which is our 5th question. There's been much discussion and work, and even some elections, about building a swimming pool in Snoqualmie. This spring and summer, there has been a heightened level of interest by the council to expand the community center and to build a swimming pool facility. Do you support the expansion of the community center and the building of a pool? And if you do, please explain how you would pay for it.
I wish I didn't have to go first on this. I'm sorry. I had this all spelled out. I'm gonna go a little ad lib just until then. I completely support a community center, a pool, if it's not paid for with tax dollars. In addition, I would really need to see updated traffic studies. The ones that were done back were for Snoqualmie Ridge 1, and that was when the community center was a completely different design. I do not feel that with the pickup and drop off at Cascade View, we could safely support that. I'm also concerned because I think we have other projects that really take more of importance. If you were, because I think that really goes to the goal. Let's see if I can find it really quick. I don't think I should go first anymore, honestly. But if I could find it where it talks about, for the, goal number 4, provide and protect services, space, facilities, and events that enhance residents' quality of life. Well, that's one of the ones that is referred to for this pool. But I think that if you were to ask a parent with special needs children, they would probably say that it would be an all-inclusive playground. Or if you were to ask someone that's tripping over sidewalks, they would say that. I would. I really have a hard time with depth and darkness. And I don't want to trip. So for me, I think we have a lot of issues that need our money before a pool. It just seems very frivolous. Also, I think it's rushed. It's rushed with the Mount Side project. So again, I would support it as long as the traffic studies are done and showing that a building that size could be supported and safe. Safety. Have you ever had the soccer games on a Saturday when both sides of that traffic, a kid running out? It's just, we weren't designed for that kind of traffic in that area. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Elaine, same question about a swimming pool. Would you support it, and would you pay for it?
So, first of all, I want to clarify in my mind that the YMCA is not our community center. It belongs to the YMCA, and that was very nice of us to support them in building that. So if we're going to build a pool and cede so much beautiful land to them, which is very valuable, that's a $10 million gift to private industry that may or may not, there's no necessarily there will not be an accountability for how they are going to run and use this resource that we are giving them. Finally, are we responsible for refurbishing the pool in 20 years when it needs updating? So, and then this $10 million that we're going to give as a gift would cost $2,000 per household to pay that back. And on top of that, a family of 4 would pay somewhere around $1,500 a year to use the pool. It's only $185 to go into Issaquah and use their pool as much as you want. So I think we deserve our own community center run by the city, and I think the money for the pool, we need to know the provenance of where that money is. There is no way that we have $10 million laying around that we can just gift to this private industry. So if we do have that money, I think the people should be consulted. So it definitely should go to a vote of the people for this much money. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. Catherine, same question.
Okay. So Snoqualmie has one of the youngest populations in the state. 35% of our residents are under age 19. Snoqualmie's population has increased 27% since the community center was built in 2011. The YMCA Community Center is over capacity and has one of the highest membership rates in the nation. They recently added a portable building for additional space, but one of our council goals is to expand the community center and add a pool. The community center will continue to be owned by the city. The YMCA leases it from the city, and they provide all the maintenance and operations and any future capital expenditure on the facility. So they do not own it. We are not gifting them anything. And they are the experts at building pools. They run pools, they run mini pools around the region, and that's what they're really good at. So the only thing that and they will actually help pay for it as well. They can get a $1.2 million grant from the state. They will fundraise additional $1 million, and they're looking at other avenues for funding, including the upcoming, if the King County Parks levy is approved, then we can apply for a grant there. And we have approached the school district for possible funds there as well. Right now, the city council has approved, or we're conducting a random telephone survey of Snoqualmie residents. And if this comes back positive, then if it shows public support, then I will support a funding option where our residents would not incur any additional taxes.
Thank you, Catherine. We're at the halfway point of our questions, and I do want to say as a moderator, thank you for watching for the yellow and the red cards. We're staying on track, and I think we'll get to our extra questions. So we'll start with question number 6. We're going to go back to Elaine to start first. Elaine, what specifically do you think should be done to encourage more tourism, and how do you think that we can capture more tourism dollars?
Thank you. So we have some projects coming in that's going to encourage lots of tourism. We've got the Salish expansion. That's going to have 100, I don't know, almost 200 hotel rooms. I'm sorry, I don't have it memorized. And also residents up there, as well as they're going to have a huge event center. And then the mill site, you know, the details of that are not established yet, I don't think, but there's some talk of an amphitheater coming in there. So that's going to be plenty of people coming in for the amphitheater and for the event center. And one concern I have about the Salish expansion is if they have such a huge event center, are they going to build a casino there? Is it going to be allowed? The Spokane tribe just was able to, they had a court case and they won that they could do this expansion for them. Now, council had an opportunity to say no casino on this development, and they did not do that. So if that's coming in, we'll have plenty of tourists coming down here to enjoy our beautiful city. So, as far as encouraging more tourism, it sounds like there's lots of programs in the works to try to make that happen. And I think we should make sure everybody knows about all these great ideas that people have. But anyway, in any event, let's be creative, especially with transportation. Can we get some really easy way for people to come out here, maybe on shuttle buses, etc.? Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine.
Again, you know, it's deja vu. These conversations, I've been in them for the last 12, 13 years. Like I said, it was very greatly disappointing 2 years ago. Merchants met with Mayor Matt and City Administrator Bob Larson to talk about these kind of things. And again, that was 2 years ago. And one of the things when I discovered this, and I said something just right up, we don't know who our tourist is. We don't know. We know they're coming. We don't know what they're doing here. And a really easy way to do that would be like a survey. Hey, can we, you know, and have some gift cards from some restaurants for them to take the time for the 2-minute survey? What if they're not coming here to eat? What if, we don't know. We don't know what they're coming. Maybe they're just on their way to Easter. We don't know. And that's the problem, is that we don't know. So I would really encourage knowing who our tourist is that's coming here. Are we really, and excuse me, my aunts, I'm getting excited here. The survey, and to fix the signs, such a logical, easy fix. Our signs point to different directions. They're pointing to grocery stores that no longer exist. The color's difficult to read. There's no logic to any of it. Those are really easy fixes. But one of the things that really concerns me is that the Ridge retail was not, and again, anyone can read it. I'm happy to email it to you if you don't understand that. We were never meant to get the tourism. So how are we gonna fix that? And that's something that a year ago, before budgeting, council members said we were gonna get going. How do we get the tourists to know? Already the new project, the Safeway, they have larger signs than what we do. So they know that they're there, but how do they know that we're there on the other side? And that's something that's been parking lotted for a while, and that's something that I would really encourage. instead of recruiting new tourism, let's get the tourism we already have and get them so that they can find and know what our businesses are. And that's something I would encourage our current council members to continue to get off the parking lot items. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Same question, Catherine. How about tourism? How do we capture those dollars?
Okay, I've already discussed this, talked about it a little bit earlier, with 2 million visitors coming to Snoqualmie annually. There are several projects that will draw tourism, and that includes the hotel, the sailor spa, and the conference facility. And then we also have the new hockey rink that's coming in as well. And so I can see that, you know, you're gonna have tons of hockey players that are gonna come in and potentially come down and use our restaurants and services. I think that our community development group is working on a citywide tourism plan, and so we're anticipating having it completed later this fall, and then looking for merchant input on it. I would also like to speak to her comment on casino. The requirements for a casino is that it has to be contiguous to the reservation, and Sailor's expansion or Sailor's Lodge is not a reservation. Muckleshoot already has Muckleshoot Casino, and they also own Auburn Downs. So they have advised that they are not interested in casino. You are correct about the Spokane tribe, but there are a lot of hoops that they would have to jump through, including approval from the Snoqualmie tribe and also input from the city. And so it would be very difficult to add a casino if they wanted to.
All right. Thank you, Catherine. We'll stay with you for the next question. In your opinion, is the city a good steward of the environment? And please explain your answer.
So the city has several different projects going on. One is they work with King County Conservation District on a shoreline public access and restoration plan, and actually that evolved into our Riverwalk master plan. We also have an urban rural forestry stewardship program that Phil Bennett, our arborist, does an excellent job and is planning on restoring all 1,200 acres of our forest. We have a green Snoqualmie plan and program, which is used to, they assessed all of our open spaces, and we are also working at restoring the open spaces and engaging citizens to help with that. Let's see. We also have a 15-year wind power agreement with PSE, and so we are purchasing wind power for the next 15 years that we will be using. The City Hall has a solar expansion program where they've installed 21 kilowatts of solar on the City Hall. We have we did a winterized Snoqualmie weatherization program and yielded. We reviewed 63 homes were audited in historic downtown, and we have a staff that is this consultant to develop a climate action plan. Our senior staff, she's on the King County Cities Climate Collaboration. She's one of the co-chairs.
Thank you, Catherine. Elaine, same question. Is the city a good steward of the environment? And please explain your answer.
Thank you. Okay, so my biggest concern is the K4C, or the King County Cities Climate Collaboration. We have done several things that Catherine just mentioned, which are great, and we can do very much more. We promised as part of this collaboration that we would reduce greenhouse gases by 25% by next year. This is really critical because cities are really the front line in doing something about holding back or doing something about drawing down the greenhouse gases and their impact on our climate. I think we can be doing a lot more. We are nowhere near our 25% goal, and it goes up to 80% by 2050. So these are great things they're doing, but I would like to see us to put into our code that any new buildings that for which this could apply, such as commercial buildings, that they would have a LEED certification of at least a gold standard. And we can be asking developers to do more to make sure that they are contributing to drawing down our greenhouse gases. I think it's also really important that when we have an opportunity to look at a variance, that we preserve the beauty and the beautiful older trees that we have. So I think we need to be careful about our traffic. Our traffic is really out of control in some ways, especially when you get towards 18. What kind of creative solutions can we come up with, such as shuttle buses? Or somehow can we get people around in the city very efficiently so parents aren't driving back and forth with their kids to all these various activities that reduces how much time people are spending on our roads? Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. Anna, same question. Is the city a good steward of the environment? Please
You know, I
answer.
think that one threw me off as well, just like Catherine. I wasn't really expecting it. So, you know, yes, no. You know, I'm really into business and tourism, but I do have an opinion. Are we good stewards? Yes, I think we are. I think we're better than a lot of other cities. Could we be better? Yeah. A few instances that I know firsthand that I can speak of. And again, I really want to emphasize on myself speaking firsthand for me. You know, I think these questions are directed towards us personally. Could we do better? Yeah. Could we educate people like my poor husband who doesn't know that he can't, well, he knows now, can't wash his car in the driveway? Yeah, I think there's a lot of people, you know, can we educate and even start making a reason why people wouldn't want to do something like that? And why, you know? You didn't know. A lot of people don't know about the storm drains and what they do. Could we have implemented, and we still haven't, but years ago, Mayor Matt had tried to get Public Works and myself to discuss businesses